All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time up we have something truly, truly special. Something special from my own gaming past, and something that chances are many of you are already familiar with. And this is a redemption story. It is a story that gets sad because of lawyers, as many things do in life, and then it gets happy again because of fans, which, like, I love a good, like, fans of the thing made the thing for real. Anyway, so we are talking about No One Lives Forever.
It's happened before.
Which is one of the best games made in the Windows XP era. For real. Hands down, bar none, absolutely one of the very best games made in an era full of great games. I mean, quick side note, I took one of my old computers that was just sitting on a shelf, and I was like, I wonder if I could put XP on it, and I did, and it works fine. Actually, it works great. It is a monster gaming beast. It is the Windows XP machine that I always wanted but could never have.
What about the targets?
All of this was sparked when a local eBay seller was selling the exact computer that I had in college. Might have actually been my computer. And part of me was like, oh man, I should get that. And then the other part of me was like, I couldn't afford a very good computer in college. Like, it was, you know, like, it could run StarCraft. It could run Diablo. I mean, some of the cutscenes in Diablo 2 were a bit much for it, but, you know, it struggled by. And I almost bought that machine, and then I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just try and put XP on a machine that can do some serious harm? And so I have been putting all of my old Windows XP games, which I don't have the boxes. I just kept the discs. I wish I could say I was a big box gamer who kept all the boxes. I did not. I didn't have a lot of space. I was living in a college dorm. I didn't have room to have big boxes everywhere. I'm sorry, but I did not have the space. Those of you who know what it's like to go from, like, living in a shoebox to living out of a suitcase over the summer and then right back into living in a shoebox, like, you'll know what I mean when I say, like, there just was not space. Anyway, so I still have all of my old games, and, you know, we're talking true classics. We're talking, you know, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games. We're talking the, those early 2000 EA Sports NHL games. Like, oh, man. I put so many hours into those. The Maple Leafs won so many Stanley Cups under my direction. Anyway, and then two big ones, No One Lives Forever 1, which is subtitled The Operative, and No One Lives Forever 2. Now, this is going to be a bit rambling. Just prepare yourself for a bit of a ramble right up top, if you've not been aware that I've been rambling for 4 minutes now, because I'm talking about nostalgia, and I often do. And it's hard for me to not get caught up in, like, okay, this is the era in which this happened, and here's what I was doing, and here's how this impacted my life. But yeah, you can't escape that kind of a thing. I'm sorry, when you're very nostalgic for a thing, you are. Two of the games that really made an impact on me were No One Lives Forever 1, The Operative, and No One Lives Forever 2, A Spy in Harm's Way. And there was a third one that I did not know about called Contract Jack. It does not star the main character of the No One Lives Forever series, the woman everybody loves, Kate Archer. who was, like, it's funny because at the time, everybody was like, goo goo. Look at Kate Archer. She's wearing these little skin-tight spy outfits and whatnot. And then, like, this time around, I'm actually listening to the dialogue and whatnot, because before I was like, skip the dialogue, get me to the gameplay. And now I'm actually listening to the dialogue, and I'm like, oh, she's complaining about issues of sexism in the workplace, preventing her from having the kind of advancement that she deserves, and that kind of stuff. She's just asking to be taken seriously, and nobody's taking her seriously. And I'm like, oh, that's very realistic. And there are parts of No One Lives Forever that are very realistic and indeed moving. Your mentor gets shot. I don't know if I'm going to make it that far in the gameplay. I recorded way more gameplay than I needed to, and also I need you to know that I failed this mission when I accidentally shot a civilian, because the mission ends with the bad guy saying, like, kill all the guests in the hotel and kill Kate Archer and then burn the hotel to the ground. He's like, yeah, just go crazy, destroy everything. And so yeah, I come around a corner and a couple of goons are trying to shoot this go-go girl, which is, the entire series is very 1960s spy era. And the music is spot on, and the design is spot on, and, like, everything about it is perfect. Austin Powers wished it could have captured the era this well. And yeah, it's a real trip, because parts of it you can't help but take seriously, and other parts are very silly. Anyway, let me get to the rambly bit, and then we'll get back into what makes this game so awesome and why you should go out and get it right now. Whether you've played it or not, you need to go get it, and I'll tell you how. Anyway, so these games came out, and I was like, man, these are so fun, and I played them multiple times on my late era Windows XP machine. I didn't find out about them right when they came out. Like, the first one came out in 2000, and I didn't play it till maybe 2002. And I think the second game was out. Yeah, the second game was out by 2002. And so I played both of these games at the same time on my, my updated Windows XP machine that was not as crappy as the one that I originally had, and was a bit more capable of playing good games. And this is a very good game, and I remember just playing it and loving it, and I got to keep playing it and loving it, because some games I just love playing again and again. Grand Theft Auto Vice City is one of my favorite games. It has a certain vibe, it has a certain feel. I will play that game again and again. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, same deal. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Like, these are games that I always come back to again and again and again. Skyrim, geez, how many times have I beaten that game? I don't even know at this point. Some games you just keep coming back to, and I was very happy that for a while these games were supported. And then I remember I believe I finagled a way to play them in Windows 7. And then it was the switch to Windows 10 when they were like, hey, guess what? If you have Windows 7, you are going to get viruses. And I was like, crap. I hate it when Microsoft forces us to upgrade, but they did, as they always do. And I upgraded and lost the ability to play these games. There was no compatibility mode, there was no hack, there was no nothing that you could do about it, other than have either a dual boot system, which has made some of my systems very unreliable. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm being superstitious about having hard drives destroyed that way, but I have had hard drives crash and burn hard on dual boot systems, and I regretted it because I lost some data that way. I tried to back everything up. Not everything is perfect. Anyway, regardless, try not to ramble too far afield. The point is that when Windows 10 became a thing that you had to live with, which Windows 10 is fine. I actually like Windows 10. But when it became a thing that we all had to do, I lost the ability to play these games, and so did everyone else. And there were web boards where people were like, why can't we have these games? Like, why don't they get released on GOG, on Good Old Games, or Great Old Games? I think it's Great Old Games. But GOG, the Steam for old games. And, or why doesn't it get a, patched, updated version in Steam? Like, people would pay for this immediately. Like, I would buy a second copy, even though I have physical copies. I would buy it again because of how much I love this game. If for the ability to just click on it and have it work, And, but you couldn't have it. You could not have it. And this made me very sad, and it made a lot of people very sad, because this game is so much fun. It's serious at times, it's silly very often. There's so many funny things in this game. And if you listen in to a lot of the NPCs' conversations, like, they are ridiculous. There's just so many things this game does right. It's a vibe, it's a feel, and it is exactly perfect in every detail. And, I cannot love this game hard enough because it is such great gameplay and such great game design, level design, character design, sound design. Every aspect of these games is perfect, like, beyond reproach. I mean, yes, of course, you could make a better version of these games now, and why wouldn't you? Like, they are perfect. I think both myself and a lot of other fans of these games would be very skeptical of a modern remake. It would be like the 15,000 remakes of Final Fantasy VII and the way that people feel about those things, which, by the way, I've not started Final Fantasy VII yet. If you have recommendations on which version I should play, because I have most of them. Like, I own remakes and remasters and original versions, and, a lot of different ways to play it. If you have opinions on this matter, please let me know. But anyway, so here's what happened with the No One Lives Forever series. They got stuck in lawyer hell because as every other game was being, re-released, given a modern update so that you could play it on Steam and whatnot, these games never did, and everyone always wanted to know why. And then people would post why, and it would be like, oh geez, I don't understand that. I'm not a lawyer. All I see is, like, these lawyers threaten those lawyers with some lawification, and therefore you may not have these games. And now, actually, you can, and I don't know I'm pretty sure it's legal, but even if it's not, you should definitely get them absolutely right now. No, I'm pretty sure it's legal because I believe someone sued and they were like, hey, the copyrights for these games should exist and they should be out there where people can get them. And I don't know how it all worked out because, again, I'm not a lawyer, but you can download them for free. You can download No One Lives Forever, the Game of the Year edition. You can buy No One Lives Forever 2, the fully patched up version with the latest patches and everything. Both of these modernized so that you can play them at modern resolutions. There is a little charm lost in playing it at a higher resolution, which is why I'm going to do the other thing, which is download the originals and play those on my Windows XP machine because you can download those versions as well. Absolutely. Yeah, you heard it right. So I believe this is the person who currently owns the copyright making these things available for everyone. And the support for these games is incredible. Yeah, they've got multiple ways to download it. They've got multiple types of platforms that you can play it on. They are all there ready for you to go. No One Lives Forever 1 and 2, and also Contract Jack, which I've never played because I didn't even know it existed. And the fact that it doesn't star Kate Archer is a bit of a knock on the game in my book, but we'll see. We will see whether or not it upholds the silly, super ridiculous nonsense of this game and of this series. For real. No One Lives Forever 2 is very much like No One Lives Forever 1, but even more so. Anyway, and now that I've rambled for most of the time that I drop a review for, and let's be honest, I always go for twice as long as I should, especially considering what the YouTube algorithm wants, which, I'm not here to impress a robot. Sorry. But I'm not. I'm here to tell you about games that I care about, and I care about these games. They are, like I said before, absolutely perfect in every detail. When you think about the time in which they were made, the people who developed these games could not have done better. Absolutely could not have done better. The characters design, flawless. The story, incredible. Both with silly twists and turns, but also some real oh, that's kind of for real though, feels in it. And also just really solid inventive gameplay, because you're a spy and you also get spy gadgets in addition to regular weapons. No. And that you have a body dissolver, so that when you're doing ultra stealthy missions, if you kill someone, you can dissolve their body, and then the body doesn't get discovered and alarms don't get tripped, and you have an easier time making it through the level. There's just such care and attention. These games represent so much love on the part of the people who made them, because the people who made them obviously loved spy movies of the era, and then in Kate Archer they created a really interesting, lifelike character. And look, in this era in which Hollywood is doing nothing but ripping off everything it can, there are no original ideas, everything is a sequel, a reboot, or a based off of some pre-existing product that has millions of fans. Here is something which you could easily turn into a good movie. Of course, you could also turn it into a terrible movie, because Hollywood, even when they're succeeding, they fail more than half the time. So yeah, I wouldn't pin too high of hopes, but this is exactly the kind of thing that would make an excellent movie. Because the people who made it understand the genre that they are both spoofing and also giving a loving send up to. And so it is spot on, absolutely perfect. If you're the sort of person who has watched a lot of James Bond movies and a decent amount of Get Smart, oh man, this is going to be right up your alley. As I said, there is nothing amiss in these games. It is absolutely perfect in every single detail. There is nothing about these games that I would change in the slightest. And I am not kidding. I love them so much. I didn't even remember how I stumbled upon them. I just found them one day. I think I found it in a bargain bin and was like, that looks interesting. And then I took it home. I think I paid like $5 for the first game. And then the second game was had just come out. And so I had to pay full price. But I got both of these games and played them to death. And then there was a whole era where I could not play them, and now I can play them again, and I couldn't be happier. And you can play them too for free. Anyway, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me put a final score on it. You're not going to be surprised. Okay, so for No One Lives Forever, a game I'm so happy to be playing again, I give it a 10 out of a possible 10 Sean Connery James Bonds because he was the best one. Absolutely. I will take no questions on this. Like, if you think anyone... Look, Daniel Craig is fine. I've been very happy with his performances. Reminds us that, like, we were all wrong about Pierce Brosnan. Also, that Mamma Mia also reminded us that we were wrong about Pierce Brosnan. We should not have loved him like we did. If we learned anything from Mamma Mia, that's what we learned. Anyway, we should not have respected him as James Bond, especially because he got so handily upstaged by Halle Berry. Anyway, regardless, we're not here to rehash Pierce Brosnan and his milquetoast James Bond that we thought was awesome at the time, but just turned out like no.
I was beginning to
we were just happy to be getting James Bond movies again.
Can you blame me for like a
anyway,
child?
yeah, which like by the way, the random side note, you'll watch a little more game footage at this point because I have definitely shown you the final score, and you're probably like, okay, I'm done. That's all I wanted to know. I'm not listening to him ramble further. But if you do listen to me ramble further, you'll hear me tell this fun anecdote. For like my 9th or 10th birthday,
be waiting for us at the coast.
I got a full set of James Bond like spy gear with the Walther PPK and like all of like some gadgets and gizmos that I had no idea what this was. I had never heard of James Bond at all. Because like I had just never heard of it. My parents like were extremely religious, and so I was not allowed to watch James Bond movies. As a matter of fact, one time when I was home for college, home from college, having actually seen most, if not all, of the James Bond movies at this point, they were doing a Bond-a-thon on TV, and I was like into Diamonds Are Forever, which is a hilariously out of touch movie for today. Go back and watch the two gay guys in that and just realize like they are clownishly gay in a way that's like, oh, you guys didn't make gay characters because you were ahead of the time and you were kind of like, oh, let's throw gay people a bone. You were like full on like, see how gay people are.
First,
Man.
kill everybody.
Anyway, I'm watching
Then
it, and my
destroy
dad
the
comes in and is like, nope,
Let our enemies
turn
search
that
the
off.
rubble
So
for
even
answers.
as a
We shall
20-something,
find
I was forbidden from watching James Bond. Owning a gun, however, totally fine. Like, that's the lesson, and a lesson we should all take. Anyway, feel however you want about that information. I am drawing no further parallels. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.